time, I have a teachable moment. For all of us. I know it really caused me to do some thinking again today. And it just solidified a conclusion that I had come to months ago. As a matter of fact, I came to that conclusion. I think I blogged it on our syndicated blog at PNN. I think it went over the Facebook channels that we have, 10 or 12 different Facebook channels. From there, it was picked up by WND. They ran a feature headline article about what I had deduced, and I'm sure that I wasn't the first person to deduce it. I'm sure there were many others that were saying the same thing in the days and weeks to follow. But I was one of the first. And so, but since then, there have been people who say, well, I don't know if that's really what the deal is, what the issue is. But now in this teachable moment, I am more convinced than ever that that's what it is. Now, you say, what are you talking about, Carl? You're speaking in riddles to us. Well, I don't intend to be, and I'll straighten it all out. Just hang in here with me. So let me put it like this. All right, you're driving down the road, or you're sitting in your office, or whatever. Maybe you're mowing your yard and you have your headsets on right now, or you're at home, in the kitchen right now with the radio going. Whatever, wherever you are, just listen. Listen as closely as possible, or even if you want to listen casually. I'm going to give a little test. It's easy. So it doesn't matter, how intensely attentive you are to what I'm getting ready to say. You'll be able to do this. So I'm going to make some statements. Okay? And I'm just going to use the pronouns. Is this politically correct for me to say he or she? I don't know. Can I say that anymore, Mallory? I don't know if I can even say that anymore. Will we lose our FCC license? Will I go to prison if I say he or she? If I identify somebody as a male or a female? I don't know what the rules are now. They change all the time. So many snowflakes running our country now. It's in marshmallows, snowflakes and marshmallows, puppy dog breath, daffodils and rainbows. They're running the country. So you never know what the rules are. But anyway, I'm going to use the pronouns, and if the people in the white suits show up to haul me off because I dared to identify someone as male or female, then I suppose that's just the way it's going to have to be. So I'm going to use these pronouns. And so if I were to describe a political candidate, let me begin with she first, okay? Listen to this. She has scant regard for constitutional protections. She is often erratic. She is often ill-equipped. She is just ill-equipped to be commander-in-chief of the military. And she traffics in all manner of prejudice and, bigotry. And she is not honest with the American people. And she speaks recklessly. And she has coarsened the national dialogue. And she's a serial liar. Now, all right, who are you thinking of? What's the image you had? I mean, if I just listed all those out and put them in a Wikipedia entry, whose picture would you put in the Wikipedia entry? Who do you think I was talking about? She has little regard for constitutional protections, constitutional republic. She's erratic. She's not commander-in-chief material. She's traffics in prejudice and bigotry and all that hate speech and divisiveness. And she's a liar. She's reckless in her speech. She's coarse in the national dialogue. So whose picture would you put? Really? I can hear you screaming at the radio. Really? Hillary Clinton? That's who I would put. That's who I thought of. I mean, immediately. I mean, that fits her to a T. Fits her to a T. And I could spend this whole next segment going through each of those definitions, giving example after example right out of the headlines, how she fits that to a T. All right, let's change the pronouns. He. He has very little regard for constitutional protections and the historical interpretation of the Constitution. He is erratic, all over the place. If you like your doctor, you can keep. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you a hint. Okay, all right. He's a sorry commander-in-chief. He traffics in bigotry and prejudice. Traffics in it. Wrote books about it. I ought not to give you those hints. He doesn't level with the American people. He says one thing and then winds up doing another. He speaks recklessly. Like the police acted stupidly, or Trayvon could have been my son. He has coarsened the national dialogue. Wow. Like I said, I could do a whole show on that one alone. He's a serial liar. Okay, so who would you think of? Can you guess who I'm thinking of? The male candidate for president that we're thinking of, or just whose picture? I mean, I read these. I mean, immediately I thought of Hillary Clinton for the female, and of course Barack Obama for the male. I mean, that these descriptions fit them to a T. All right, now here's the teachable moment. And by the way, you could have had different opinions. I mean, you could have plugged in different names, but I really don't know how. And by the way, I didn't make up these definitions. These little categories, these definitions, come straight out of a mainstream media news article that hit the presses today. And this comes from USA Today. And I want you to listen to the opening paragraph. In the 34-year history of USA Today, the editorial board has never taken sides in the presidential race. Instead, we've expressed concerns about the major issues, and we haven't presumed to tell our readers, who have a variety of priorities and values, which choice is best for them. By wording it that way, they have really told on themselves. Anyway, the next sentence says, because every presidential race is different, we revisit our no endorsement policy every 4 years. We've never seen reason to alter our approach. Period. Until now. Period. This year, the choice isn't between two capable major party nominees who happen to have significant ideological differences, whichever way you want to say it. This year, one of the candidates, Republican nominee Donald Trump, is by unanimous consensus of the USA Today editorial board unfit for the presidency. Can you hear the pretentiousness, the precociousness, the duplicity, the hypocrisy? And those are my nice words. Trump has demonstrated repeatedly that he lacks the temperament, the steadiness, and the honesty that America needs from this. Honesty? And Hillary Clinton represents honesty and steadiness and temperament? Hillary Clinton, honesty, Benghazi, the emails, 33,000 emails, Obamacare that she was all in up to her eyeballs. If you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. Well, we got to pass it before we know what's in it. She didn't say that. Nancy Pelosi said it, but she was in on all that. I mean, Libya, ISIS, Arab Spring. She's got the temperament and the steadiness and the honesty. By the way, that 3 a.m. call she got about Libya and Benghazi, how did that work out for her? You know? And so USA Today says that Donald Trump represents scant regard for constitutional protections. Just the opposite is true. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama over and over have expressed their disdain for the Constitution and want it to be a living, breathing document, one that can be changed at the will of the liberals who are in office. Ill-equipped to be commander-in-chief? I would trust Donald Trump with our military troops, and by the way, our military troops overwhelmingly trust Donald Trump with their command than they do Hillary Clinton. traffics in prejudice? Oh, I know he's been accused of that. We've got to take a break in a moment. We're going to come back and talk more about this. I know he's been accused of it, but my gosh, Barack Obama has split this nation on bigotry and prejudice, community organizing and Black Lives Matter, and Trayvon could have been my son, and the police acted stupidly, and Hillary Clinton's right in there in the midst of all of that. We could spend the whole show on this. I don't want to do that, but it's a teachable moment. So when we get back, I'm going to answer the question, why all this vitriol? Why all the hypocrisy and precociousness and duplicity? Why would they take the very identifying characteristics of Hillary and Obama and put them over on Trump? And why would USA Today say in 35 years of existence, this is the first time we're saying don't vote for a candidate? Why is it? I'm going to tell you when we come back. It's what I said months ago, and it's the same thing. You're listening, Freedom Friday, Carl Gallups. We'll be back in a moment.
Stuck in traffic and sick of normal radio programming?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Are you serious?
Turn it up.
Personal file. He was giving them the business.
Say what?
Now that's official.
And now, the Commander-in-Chief is back. Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups, the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back. So we were examining this USA Today editorial board. Has never taken sides in 34-year history of USA Today. But now we are, because there is an evil person running for president. His name is Donald Trump, and he's erratic, and he's ill-equipped to be commander-in-chief, and he traffics in prejudice and bigotry. And he doesn't level with the American people. He speaks recklessly. He's a serial liar. He's coarsened the national dialogue. Oh my gosh. Why the vitriol? Why the unabashed, the unabashed hypocrisy, the pretentiousness, the nefariousness? How can they do that with a straight face? I mean, every one of those identifiers fit perfectly with the 8-year record of Barack Hussein Obama and the 35-year record of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. But they're projecting it onto Trump. Now, watch this. This is a telling paragraph. Listen to this paragraph. In this editorial where they're now they're going to tell people who to vote for. They literally say that. We're going to tell you who to vote for. We've never done that because we're so enlightened. We're so fair and balanced. We have never presumed to do that before, but now we will. Now we don't care if we're fair and balanced. Now we don't even want to look enlightened. We are panicking. We are in a state of panic. And so we're going to tell you, do not vote for Trump, even if you have to vote third party or write somebody's name in if you don't like Hillary Clinton. They actually say that because they know by doing that you're going to give it to Hillary Clinton, which is who they're supporting. But listen to what they say. I'm going to read this word for word. It's one paragraph. This is going to blow you away. If you have any sense at all, and of course, because you're listeners to Freedom Friday, you are filled with common sense and brilliance. Listen to this paragraph. Now, we are not unmindful of the issues that the Trump's campaign has exploited. And listen to what they admit are the ills of our country that Trump dares to address. Their word is exploit. Exploit? Listen to what they say. The disappearance of working class jobs. That's their word, folks. Disappearance of working class jobs. Listen to this. Excessive political correctness. Oh my gosh. I mean, this sounds like something I would have written. The direction of the Supreme Court. And they mean that most of us think it's bad. They're right. Urban unrest and street violence. The rise of ISIS. Gridlock in Washington and the influence of money interest in Washington. All are legitimate sources of concern, they say. Yes! because they were all brought on by Obama and Hillary Clinton, his Secretary of State. Now, I'll admit, in the Bush administrations prior, it was starting to pile up, no doubt. But Obama brings this stuff on steroids. So Trump exploits the rise of ISIS? Who birthed ISIS? Obama and Hillary. The New York Times says it. They bragged about it. Good gosh. I'm running out of time. This is enough to make a preacher want to cuss. I'm not going to cuss, don't worry, and that's not a part of my language and vocabulary. And yes, I am a pastor, a preacher, and have been for a long time. You don't have to worry about it. I'm just saying it's enough to make a preacher want to cuss. They actually admit, here's the problems with America: disappearance of working class jobs, excessive political correctness, the direction of the Supreme Court, street violence, urban unrest, the rise of ISIS, terrorism, a gridlock in Washington, influence of money interest in Washington. And they're mad because Trump dares to mention that. Yet they admit that that's the problem with America. The very problems Trump says he's going to fix. All right, so why the vitriol? What's the big deal? Here's another teachable moment. Answer this question wherever you are. If you're going down the road in your car, you can scream out loud. What does Clinton, Obama, and the mainstream media, what does Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the mainstream media have hardcore in common? Oh, there's several things. But the deal is they're hardcore globalists. They don't like America. They despise Americana. And that's the opposite of what Donald Trump is saying. It could prove that he's a big fat liar when he gets in office. I get that. But that's not what he's saying. He's saying he's going to build a wall. He's saying he's going to test immigrants. He's saying he's going to keep ISIS out. He's saying he's going to bring corporations back to America and flood the nation with jobs. He's saying he's going to strengthen the military. He's saying he's going to make America great again. He's surrounding himself with Christian advisors and a Christian evangelical vice president. Hillary Clinton going to build a wall? Nope. She going to do immigration tests? Nope. She going to keep ISIS out? No, they're going to keep flooding us with refugees, and they know ISIS is among them. Are they going to bring corporations back? You heard Hillary Clinton say she's going to raise taxes on corporations and the rich. Are they going to build the military? They're in the process of deconstructing the military. Are they going to make America great again? No. Her campaign motto is, I'm with her. How narcissistic can you get? Here's the vitriol. He is a nationalist. They are globalists. And he can win this thing. Yes, he can. Pause for effect. Yes, he can. And they know it. And they know that if he does, it will set them back 50 years of their globalist agenda. They can't let him win this. And so for the first time since the inception of USA Today, they are screaming at the 12 people that read their magazine. Do not vote for Trump. Whatever you do, stay home, vote for a third party, put in a write-in. Do not vote for Trump. Project onto Trump what the ills of Obama and Hillary Clinton are. That's their duplicity. He terrifies them, folks. You get it. I know you do, because you are a listener to Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups. We'll be back after this time out. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.